I'm Orlando Jones, and I just want you to know that the Moana Nui Podcast will be starting soon. Stay tuned, yo.
I'm Veronica Taylor, and from myself and Ash Ketchum, I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
All right, folks, greetings and welcome to our Thursday broadcast of the Moana Nui Podcast for Geek Speak On Sports. I am James, joined again by Furious. How you doing, sir?
I'm all right. And yourself?
I'm just glad football season has finally gotten underway. If we look a little light tonight, that is because we have other members who will be joining us this evening. We're just waiting for their arrival. So while we are filling up for time, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention what you see in your background there. Help those, if you want to help those out affected by the Maui wildfires that have ravaged that area over the last couple of weeks. You can scan the QR code. It will take you directly to a link so that you can donate. They are still in need of funds for rebuild efforts, supplies, to get through the devastation that is going on over there. So if you do feel so inclined, just scan the QR code. It will take you directly to that link so that you can give assistance if the spirit moves you to do so. For this evening, we will definitely get into the NFL since the season did kick off a week ago tonight. But before we get to the NFL, we're going to delve into some other sports related topics that have happened since the last time you saw us in about a month or so. So, Furious, you want to start? Because I have a number of topics, some of which are enlightening, others are laughable, some are mind-blowing. Where do you want to? Do you want to go with one of my topics? Do you want to start with one of yours?
I'm going to start with one of mine, which
All right.
I have a feeling will be one of yours, but I'm going to attack it from a slightly different perspective.
Okay.
Coach Prime.
Yeah, that was one of my topics.
I'm not going to talk specifically. I'm not going to talk in general about Colorado, but I'm just going to talk specifically about Coach Prime. And I love the bravado that man brings to the bravado, the energy that he brings to the interviews, to the coaching, to all of it. To me, it's a very welcome change. Now, granted, they're only 2-0, so we'll see how good they still turn out to be for the rest of the season.
True.
But I love the fact that everybody, or maybe not everybody, but certain key people in the media have had things to say.
Everybody.
No, not everybody. Not everybody.
Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, everybody in sports media has had something to say about Deion Sanders since he took the Colorado job.
Okay, that is fair. Certain key people have had very negative things to say.
Oh, of course.
And I love that in the post-game interviews before before Coach Prime allows people, hey, give the man his respect. He's Coach Prime. Before people can ask questions, he's like, oh, do you believe now? Do you see what we did? Oh, you didn't think we could do it. Look at what we did. So again, I'm a petty individual, and I love that petty. I love the petty that he's bringing to these interviews, and I love it because, again, I'm in Atlanta. I'm a Falcons fan. I'm a Braves fan. I remember when Coach Prime played for the Falcons and the Braves, and how he had that same kind of energy and bravado even back then. And I've seen interviews where he's talked about the persona of primetime. This is just always who he's been. And I love seeing it because, again, I get tired of the, yes, we did very well. Or no, we didn't. I'm sorry. I get sick and tired of that. I love the energy that he brings to it. He's excited. He's energetic. And it's bleeding into the players. The other thing that I love about what Coach Prime is doing is, I think it was the TCU game when one of their players, I don't remember what position the player played who got hurt.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach Prime went out there and was talking to him and trying to coach him up and get him hyped. And then I later found out that was a player who, for whatever reason, didn't go to Colorado and went to TCU. And Coach Prime was just kind of like, look, it's the way he speaks to these young men.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, you and I have both played sports. You and I both know the negative side of how coaches talk to their players at times when things aren't going your way. But the way he speaks energy into these players, even when it's the players on opposing teams, to me, shows a lot about who he is.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love about Coach Prime.
Yeah. And I would have to agree. The bravado, the energy, what he's brought into college football. Because let's be real, the last decade or so of college football has pretty much been Alabama versus somebody else for the national title.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's basically been the talk. And if you're not an Alabama fan, you get sick and tired of talking about Alabama from beginning to end of the entire college football season.
You do. You do.
And with Deion Sanders, you have, like I said, the energy, like you said, the energy, that bravado, that mystique. I just wish people would, one, let this man coach the way he coaches.
Yep.
Let him do what he's going to do, because my thing is, I ain't had nothing to say when he was at Jackson State. But now that he's doing the same thing at Colorado, it's a problem because it steps on your old foundational white way of doing things. And it doesn't jive, if you will, with the way y'all have established how things should go. People just need to stop talking because, like you said, week one, a lot of the media pundit talking heads at all the various networks, ESPN, Fox, NBC, those who this isn't HBCU level stuff, this is D1, this is Pac-12. You can't do that stuff up here. TCU is going to trounce them. Okay, they beat TCU 45-42, if I recall that being the score. And this past week, the coach and some of the players at Nebraska ran their mouth coming into Colorado. And they messed around and found out in the second half, because I saw that game. The first half was a little sloppy. And the second half, they looked like the polished football team that Prime had coached them up to be. And this week, if he didn't need anything else, because this is like poking Jordan. Like, don't you hear former players talk about back in the day when they played against Jordan, how he would manufacture stuff. Mm-hmm. Don't give this man ammunition, right? Like, the coach of Colorado State, who is Colorado's upcoming opponent for this Saturday evening, went on his radio show or podcast show, whatever, because every coach in the country has a show. Yeah. And pretty much said, I don't like the way he addresses the media and press conferences. He needs to take his hat off and his shades off when he's addressing adults. And then invoked, my mama raised me better than that, so I don't do it. He shouldn't do it. What your mama got to do with Prime?
Right.
And why are you talking about, like, to paraphrase somebody who's still working their way back into celebrity good graces, keep this man's name out your mouth. Qiana, welcome to the show. How are you? This is our first topic that we're talking about. I like to get your input and insight as you're sporting your Saints gear.
Yeah, all right. Grand Rising, my king.
Wakanda forever.
I love y'all. I am good. I apologize for being late. I was actually watching the game.
You're good. You're good.
And look, don't mention the game. We went through the same thing last year when we played the Houston Texans. As long as I know there's a game on. Okay. I'm going to watch it when we're done, which means I'm getting no sleep tonight because I'm going to watch it from the very beginning until the very end.
Okay.
And then I'll probably watch it again while I'm working tomorrow. But we were talking about Colorado and Prime's impact on the team, the school in general, and people wanting to talk about them.
So I will tell you again, the country better known as Texas, and I don't mean country like
trust me, I know what you mean.
This is a completely different country down here. So
yes, I know. I've been
right.
Go
so
back.
that TCU game, I heard like people, I don't think they're gonna do this, and I turned around with my messy ass and said, well, didn't TCU get embarrassed like in the national football game just a short while ago? So I don't really understand why the automatic assumption is this was just going to be a complete flop. You could have at least given the man some credit for, as annoying as he is very talented and he's a good coach. So, I mean, we could talk a little bit of mess and whatever, but like the truth hurts at some point. And so they were all just kind of people just sitting there like, and that game was back and forth. And so it was just literal shock as I was sitting in a sports bar watching this, and they're just like pretty much just not saying it out loud. Oh, I didn't think they would be able to keep up. Well, now you know. Leave the man alone. Whatever happens, happens. It's like, just enjoy the game and just shut up. Like sometimes I feel, what is the goal here? Like, what are you trying to do? Because this man gives 0 F's about anything that anybody has to say.
Well, the goal by certain coaches, we've already established which ones, is to ridicule and belittle everything he does and say that he doesn't belong. And, that he doesn't belong pretty much goes back to a stereotype that is still belabored across all sports in general, as far as what we can and can't do compared to our pale counterparts. So
trash.
Very much so.
Trash.
Save the look. My thing is, he went to a school that had X number of players at the time he got there, and he addressed them and said, "All y'all ain't gonna be here come week 1."
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm bringing my luggage and it's Louis. We remember everything he said that that he that got put out there as far as, and he told him, look, at least 50% of y'all gonna be gone.
Which if I bring up, all of us went to freshman orientation at college.
Mm-hmm.
And what did they tell us?
Look to your left. Look to your right.
Somebody's not going to be there
when you graduate. Exactly.
It might be you.
Pretty much.
So I'm just like, how are they mad at him for saying the same thing that they've been saying to us forever?
It's because he's unbothered. Like, he reacts sometimes to a certain extent, but that people who are unbothered, that gets under people's skin.
Mm-hmm.
It really does.
We couldn't unnerve you. We couldn't rattle you. Like, why isn't what we're doing affecting you? Like, you shouldn't be this boisterous, that all this bravado and energy. Like, no, you shouldn't have all this. How dare you?
The man is an NFL Hall of Famer. Do they honestly think anything they say is going to bother him?
How quickly you forget.
NFL Hall of Fame.
Look,
nothing you can say will bother this man.
This man has had the same bravado from the time that he played to the time that he was a studio analyst to whenever he was coaching his kids' teams when they were in Pee Wee football up through Jackson State. It hadn't changed because even the coaches in the league where Jackson State plays, and I believe they're SWAC, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Either SWAC or WAC. I can't remember which.
No, they're SWAC. They're SWAC.
Okay.
Yeah, they're SWAC. Okay. The other coaches in the SWAC even had an issue with him. And it's like, some of y'all former NFL players. Eddie George coaches one of those HBCUs in the SWAC. I'm like, why y'all acting brand new? You've played with this man. You know how he is.
Right.
This is prime you getting,
this is
baby.
His MO. It's not going to change. This is his pattern of behavior.
Prime is just a way of life. You don't turn that off. You just wake up, breathe it, embrace it.
He was like this at FSU, and I would bet he was like this in high school.
Probably.
This is who he is. If you don't like it, what was it that on one of Killer Mike's albums, he was like, my name is Malik, and Killer Mike is my dad. And if you don't like what he says, oh, well, that's life.
So, yeah, this man doesn't need any more bulletin board material. Last week against Nebraska, it was personal. There's video now coming that's already circulated about the practice he had today, where he's again told his team this coming week, it's personal again. So
I don't understand. How hard-headed do you have to be? It's
I mean, why are you making it easy for him? You know, like I vote Jordan, and the reason I mentioned Jordan because we've all heard the stories of former, players in Jordan's era, whether it was Miller, Barkley, Shaq, Kenny Smith, all these guys talk about how you play Mike, you don't say anything because the dude is already crazy. He's already made up something as a reason to beat you. Don't give him any more material to use against you as added fuel. Yeah. And that's basically what Prime, because look, Prime would have came up with something for this week for them to beat Colorado because it's an in-state rival, even though they're not in the same conference.
Right.
So he would have came up with something eventually. You just made this easier for him. Yeah. And then the kicker was after they beat TCU, it's like, oh, well, that was one game. Can he do it again? And the questions of, can he be bowl eligible? Well, to be bowl eligible in this level of Division 1A football, if you will, FBS, all you have to do is win 6 games.
And looking at his schedule,
I was just about to ask, what's on the schedule?
So this week is Colorado State. Now,
so
I'm admittedly only a casual college sports fan, so I don't know if some of these teams are still as good as I remember them being from back in the day. So you all let me know. So this week is Colorado State.
3-0.
Next week is Oregon.
That's going to be tough because that's one of the better teams in the conference.
Okay. Yeah. After Oregon is USC.
That's going to be a problem as well because the Heisman Trophy winner plays there.
Right.
Caleb Williams.
Arizona State is next.
That's a winnable game.
Yeah.
And after that, it's Stanford.
Depending on which Stanford team rolls out. If it's the academic All-Americans, they can beat them. If it's the actual All-Americans, it might be tough.
Do you want to go through the rest of their schedule?
Sure, why not?
Okay, so after Stanford, we've got UCLA, who's currently ranked number 24.
Could depending on what
I think
UCLA
that's a
does,
winnable game.
That should be winnable. Okay. Yeah,
they're flaky.
Yeah.
Next we've got Oregon State.
That's winnable. That's definitely winnable.
Then Arizona.
Definitely winnable.
Then Washington State.
Ooh. 50-50. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know about that. Coin toss.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the last game of the season is Utah.
Utah won the Pac-12 championship the last 2 years.
And Utah is currently, what is that? I think that says 12th.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, Utah is currently 12th.
Wait a minute. Who's the coach at Utah?
That's a good question. It is the coach at Utah is Kyle Whittingham.
Okay.
So yeah, looking
at that schedule, and James, how many games did you say he needs to win to be bowl eligible?
6.
I see this man going to a bowl game.
I do as well. I think they're going to be some upsets.
He's definitely going to a bowl game. My only question is, does he win enough games to get into the championship game with this being the last year's the Pac-12 as we know it? That's my question. Because him getting this team to be bowl eligible in the first year was never a question. Because again, he started from nothing. Basically kicked half this team into the transfer portal and added just as many, if not more, kids from the portal. Because it's like, I want to coach a certain way. I want a certain type of player at a certain type of position. And I'm going to the portal and I'm getting every single one of these kids. And you pay attention to the games. Granted, I didn't see the TCU game, but I watched the Nebraska game. Every player who made an impact on Saturday against Nebraska, especially those kids on defense, came from other programs where they were not getting playing time.
Right.
They were only playing in blowouts one way or the other. And we're talking about D linemen, linebackers, and DBs, like every level of that defense of everybody who made some impact in that game against Nebraska. Because all the commentators kept talking about was this was a player who came from, North Carolina State, well, this player came from Michigan. This player came from Ohio State through transfer portal. Their career was X number of tackles in the 2 years they played. They came here to get more playing time. Now they're getting it.
Yeah. And the other thing that I always find interesting is I'm a big fan of Coach Prime. I've been following him on Instagram since before he took the job at Jackson State. Mm-hmm. And one thing I've always noticed is, regardless of how silly or how serious a situation is, he always has a lesson for whoever it is to learn coming from that situation. And the way he talks to people, even before Coach Prime was a coach, he was a coach. And I think a lot of these players are seeing that, number one, you get to play for Coach Prime, NFL Hall of Famer. Just to me, that right there, especially if you play cornerback, who would you rather play for? Some great coach or arguably the best cornerback in NFL history? You're going to want to play for the best. So I see that transfer portal and all of these players going, well, I didn't get to play over there. Over here, I get to play for Coach Prime, and I'll actually get to play. Oh yeah, I'm going over there.
I'm out.
Yeah. and I have a feeling, and I said it. I was like, when he was at Jackson State, had he stayed, I really think we would have had more D1 players decommit from their schools and want to go play for Coach Prime.
100%.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we're seeing it by all of these players in the transfer portal going to play for Coach Prime.
Mm-hmm.
So all of these other people can say what they want to say about the man. He is clearly doing something right.
It's the Prime effect. There's nothing you can do. I just don't understand when people have concrete evidence, clear receipts right in front of them. I mean, go be miserable and quiet and let the rest of us enjoy this man take this ride. I wish him the best. But at some point, your argument is piss poor. It doesn't make sense. Just stop talking.
Yeah. Nah, because I mean, without putting fodder out there, they're not relevant. For instance, the head coach of Colorado State. Did anybody know his name before this week?
Who?
Exactly. Nope. Exactly. And then you get on your weekly show that only the people in the town where Colorado State is listen to, and you make the comments about not liking the fact that Prime wears shades and a hat to his interviews because your mama raised you different. You knew that was going to get back to Prime. You didn't have to let the host goad you. You got on. The first thing you said was, I don't want to talk about the coach of the team. I just want to talk about my players. Okay. Know when the host is goading you to say something about the thing you mentioned at the top to not talk about. Because if I get on here and say, I don't want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys, I don't care what y'all do, the words Dallas and Cowboys will not come out my mouth after that sentence.
As the host, it is now my job to make you talk about the Dallas Cowboys. That is my job as the host.
You will have better odds winning the lottery, getting struck by lightning,
I know
and
that's
bit
right.
by a shark all at the same time.
I'm just saying, but there's it kind of makes me wonder, did he go in knowing I'm going to say I don't want to talk about it? Mm-hmm. They're going to push it anyway, and then I'm really going to get to talk. So to me, how much of this cat and mouse game is legit, and how much of this cat and mouse game is I got to get as much as I can out of this opportunity against Coach Prime.
Well,
because like James said, who knew what this guy's name was before this week?
Right.
And also, when you play Coach Prime, that's a lot more media attention on your school. Good or bad, you're getting a lot more media attention.
So, all right.
Well, I'm just saying, stop talking about him. Talk about how Alabama is in trouble. They're in trouble. Like Whoopi Goldberg said, "Girl, you in danger." Alabama, no. Woo! God, my.
Qiana, what do you have this week? Non-NFL related.
Non-NFL related. Coco Gauff.
Yes.
Come through. Can I just say, it's not just the fact that she won, which is just, I really shed a couple of tears. I'm just being honest with y'all. It's everything that led up to it. When she stood up for herself to that ref,
That part,
that was
yes,
the most beautiful thing. I was like, and the commentator that she's right. She's absolutely right. You know,
Right.
so that was just absolutely amazing to me. And I don't know if you guys saw the press conference of that other lady. I don't know her name. When she lost and she got her ass whipped. And she was, oh, I just want to be respected. I mean, full on white woman tears. It was embarrassing. It was ridiculous.
Isn't it always though?
I didn't see the press conference, but I saw a quick picture where she was talking about, well, yeah, I didn't get the rest because I had just played in a match last night, and she got to rest. And then Coco came back and was like, yeah, I guess the schedule is kind of rigorous because I just played in this doubles match and that doubles match and this and that. So yeah, she's right.
She's with it. She's on top of her. I love it.
I read that and I'm like,
love it.
Go. Yes.
She read her for filth.
Absolutely.
She read her for filth, and she got exactly what she deserved. And so you know, when it's just somebody's time, this was just her time. I was a little nervous in that first set, but she was real like smooth about it. So she's got a good core like network of people around her, not just her parents, but coaches and just other people in general. And I feel like they're like, okay, this is how you got to handle this. This is how you got to handle that. And it was just really just a beautiful thing to see, you know, again, the other lady. Good luck to that lady, whatever her name is.
You know, Qiana,
but I'm not with the excuses when you start talking about you lost because you lost.
Right.
That's it.
And you can only stand on that because this is a one-on-one. This ain't no team thing where you can kind of throw somebody else on. This is on you. Yep. You didn't play well that day. Your butt got handed to you on a silver platter. Deal with it. What I find funny is because I saw the photos that they take on the court with both players holding their respective trophies, the winner and the runner-up. And this is something I have noticed in every single Grand Slam final for the women in which a woman of color has beaten one of those Sun Dodgers. And if you look in the back, now seriously, go back to when Naomi Osaka has won, when Serena Ovina has won, and look at the back at the runner-up when the runner-up is pale, right? And you can see the stankiest of disgusting stank faces like, I am above this. I am better than. I can't, like the sheer disbelief and utter gall on their face, like, I don't know what the hell happened. Like, why am I even still standing here?
I don't know. You can leave because you lost.
That part. But then flip it. And those same women of color, if they lose the final match, they're there standing gracefully, poised, look, I'm not even going to get into the whole debate about women and smiling, but they do smile.
Right.
They are in the moment happy for their competitor won, while this pale face thing over here who's won is elated and over the moon or whatever. But you can't have the same respect, the same.
They go into their training. They know what they need to do.
So I'm like, because trust me, I saw the photos after she won, and I'm looking at the back and like, what? Why is the pale face torn up in the back? What is wrong with her?
Devastated.
Like,
so James, I was doing a quick Google search trying to find some pictures because I don't know that I noticed what you just said. I mean, I'm sure you're right, but I kind of wanted to see the pictures. The one that I ended up coming across first is when she beat Serena. And you know what Serena is doing? Smiling and looking at her like, all right, go.
Congratulations.
You got this.
You got this, right. You got me today. Congratulations. Good job. Right. Yay. Go. But when you flip it, there's
always expected to be graceful. And I know this is off topic, but the whole thing when Angela Bassett didn't win the Oscar,
right?
It's like she's not supposed to react. Well,
same thing.
It don't work like that.
That's not how people are. People get disappointed when they don't get something they think they should. Yeah, exactly.
And but you handle it gracefully.
Yeah.
As we always tend to do so. So those, what did you say? Those Sun Dodger tears don't mean a damn thing to me.
And look,
Sun Dodgers. I like that, James. I may have to use that.
I will say that as Coco was winning through the tournament, I found myself perking up a little bit more like, I'm going to watch a match. But then I watched the match and she dropped the first set. I said, no, let me stop watching the match. Maybe she'll bounce back and win. And she did come back and she won. I'm like, I'm not going to jinx Coco. Go ahead, girl, win this. Because if I watch, I don't want nothing bad to happen. So
we can watch the highlights after you win.
Right.
You like, oh, is it over? Is the confetti on the ground and it's
right.
laying there?
Are we celebrating? Everybody, okay, cool, yay, she won. Awesome.
Well, I'm looking forward to whatever she does next, and I'm hoping that between her and Simone Biles, this will be a pathway for Paris to just be. Then that's where the next Olympics is, correct? Okay, so I'm just hoping that this will just be the start of they go over there and continue to kick people's behinds as well. Yeah, I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
One of the topics I have, and I have a number of topics. We've already touched on one with Prime, and kind of dovetails into one of the little ones I want to get into out the way. So the Pac-12. Remember I mentioned earlier this being the final year of the Pac-12. For those who don't know, a couple of months ago, last year, USC and UCLA said that this year was going to be the last year that they were going to be in the Pac-12. They were leaving and jumping to the Big Ten. Well, during the summer, before the college football season started, 8 more teams in the Pac-12 decided to bolt and go other places. So Oregon, UCLA, USC, and Washington are all going to the Big Ten starting next year. Arizona State, Colorado, and Utah, they're going to the Big 12. That left California, Oregon State, Stanford, and Washington State. Well, 2 weeks ago, literally the week before the college football season started, California and Stanford were accepted by the ACC.
Oh my God!
Right, the head twitched. Oh my God, you're right. But Stanford and California play in California. That's ACC specific. Is a bunch of schools on the East Coast, from New York all the way down to Florida.
I didn't do well in geography, so
so yes, if you put the map in your head, California's over there,
on the Pacific Coast,
and the ACC is over there,
over yonder. On the
and there's a whole bunch of landlocked states in the middle. You got to fly back and forth between on a weekly basis. Now,
they should be forced to fly the long way to get to the games.
I don't think there's a short way.
On Spirit Airlines. I hope y'all make it.
Oh my gosh. I don't think there's a short way to get from California to, say, Florida.
I'm just saying, but they should have to be forced to go that way.
Oh, you mean around, across the Pacific and then okay, yeah.
They should be forced to go that way.
Well, that leaves 2 schools if you've been keeping count, and currently the only 2 schools without a new conference home, unless some miracle happens, which isn't, are Oregon State and Washington State. They currently do not have a home. The Pac-12 will cease to exist because while there are rumors floating out there that the Pac-12 can find 6 to 8 other schools and still maintain a conference with the Oregon State and Washington State still lingering behind.
Who they about to call the JUCO? All the junior colleges?
I have no understand that the Pac-12 had to go out and get Utah. I'm trying to remember who the other school on this list was. They had to go out and recruit Utah and Colorado so they can get to 12, so they can have a conference title game. Because remember, it was just the Pac-10 for about 50 or so years.
Right.
But they wanted conference title game money on top of their TV deal. And to have a conference title game, you need at least 12 teams in your conference. So they recruited Oregon from the Big Ten. They recruited Utah from the Mountain West. And they got to 12.
This is crazy.
And now Colorado's going right back to the Big Ten with Michigan and Ohio State.
And let's be real. This isn't so that they can stay relevant. This is so they can keep those TV deals and keep making that money.
Yeah.
Oh, this is so they can get a part of that bigger TV money. Because if you look at it, the SEC by far and away is number one. Is followed by the Big Ten, ACC, then the Big 12, and then the Pac-12 at the bottom. And granted, to the Pac-12's detriment, it's not their fault. They're on the West Coast, and unfortunately, sports is a mostly East Coast-driven thing. So the further west you are, the least exposure you get. Like, it was a surprise to me that the Heisman Trophy winner came from USC, considering if you're on the East Coast and you're going to watch a Pac-12 game between two Pac-12 schools, that game starts at about 10 p.m. Eastern time on a Saturday night. Granted, it is a Saturday night, but still.
You out somewhere drinking already.
Yeah.
Because you're either drinking because your team won earlier, or you drinking because your team lost.
Exactly.
And you probably are on your way, or you are wherever you go sleep for the night.
Very much.
Drowning sorrows are celebrating, but you're like, this is where I'm going to be sleeping. Do I really want to stay up and watch another game?
With
Not
teams
really.
I don't really care that much about.
Exactly.
Now, if you are a hardcore college football fan, sure, I can see that. But the casual college football fan, which I'm guessing the three of us are until this season.
I mean, I watch, don't get me wrong, but a lot of times it's in the background.
Exactly.
You know, I'm still moving and
you're not
whatever.
consciously paying attention. Like, I got to drop everything and watch this.
No, I'm an LSU fan. You think I was about to watch LSU play Grambling?
But
and they had the tie in the first quarter to be tied 7-7. Everybody said, "Oh, just because it would have been interesting," and then they went, "Oh, no." That was embarrassing. So again, it's on in the background for me most of the time.
I understand. I get it. Does anybody else have another story before I get into something that was hilariously entertaining?
Mac, did you have anything?
Not particular.
Well, while you're thinking about it,
I mean, I've got a couple things, but I don't want it to all be Mac-centered topics.
No, they won't be. But
Curious.
These two things delve into each other. Noah Lyles should be a name everyone's familiar with as of now, because a couple of weeks ago we had the World Championships of track and field. Noah Lyles is a 200-meter sprinter.
Right.
And during his press conference after he won gold medal, he talked about how he has to watch NBA players win the finals and chant, "We world champions of what? The United States and American born." Because I saw all the tweets pop up from all the broadcasts and everything when they popped up, all the players who said stuff. The American born players, Kevin Durant, Tatum, I think Kyrie Irving may have been one of them, James Harden, these players. This boy crazy, something wrong with him. Somebody want to tell him what? He said the truth.
Yeah.
The NBA is not, now granted, 1/3 of the players in the NBA are from other countries outside of the United States. That's cool. But the NBA, albeit the best basketball league in the world, is still not the world.
This North America.
It's North America. Basically, it's two countries, U.S. and Canada only has one team.
Right. I don't mean to disparage the Raptors, but I mean, it's pretty
they
much
have a
just
championship.
Well, no, absolutely. But realistically, the NBA is America.
Yes.
Right.
Very, very much so. Now, they lost their minds. Commentators tried to bash him for talking crazy and screwy. And I'm like, but he's right, though.
Yep.
he just competed in the world championships. He sprinted against people from European countries, African countries, Asian countries, South American countries, and won a 200-meter sprint against the best sprinters in the world.
Right.
Now, granted, the NBA may have the best basketball players in the world in its league, but that is a landlocked U.S.-centered sport.
Yep.
Last I checked, the NBA Finals was Denver versus Miami. I don't remember Paris having a team over there.
Nope.
Did Denver, is it a part of Uruguay now? Or I told y'all I failed geography. So help me.
I mean, there was no team from Argentina there. There was no team from Cambodia or Angola. Japan didn't have a team in the NBA. China didn't have a team in the NBA. And granted, all these countries have their own individual leagues, but none of these teams played in the NBA.
Right.
So while I understand the sentiment of you losing your ish because you think he's crazy, he's right.
What gets me is I've been saying the same thing for a really long time about Major League Baseball and the NBA, because neither of them.
NFL does it too.
Well, no, the NFL. So here's the thing with the NFL, and I don't know if this was intentional or just a happy accident. They're Super Bowl champs.
They are, but they still call themselves world champions in that same thing.
But officially, they are Super Bowl champions.
And the NBA champion is literally the NBA Finals champion officially.
Right. And okay, fair. But with baseball, it's the
World Series.
So he's
guys,
right.
I'm concerned. I am concerned because I feel like people don't have the ability to think before they speak. You're not listening to what is going on. It's almost like this high alert of combativeness that I'm ready to just jump on you because I see you as the enemy. And I'm not going to listen. I'm going to pick apart, particularly the younger generation. They hear what they want to hear. And then that's their argument. Because what did he say that was so wrong? Now, if you go back and you ask that, logical people do. Ooh, sorry. It's blank stares. And, well, you can't talk your way out of this. And it just seems like that's what people are doing now. There's no logic behind anything. Nothing he said was false.
Nothing.
Why are you so upset?
People listen to react, not to understand.
That part. And look, famous talking head and, mouth runner of all time, Stephen A. Smith, bashed him initially, only to come back a couple of days later and apologize. Because, like you said, Qiana, he had a reaction. And he wanted to call this young brother misunderstood and not knowing what he was talking about, only for a couple of days later to actually think about what he said and realize, yeah, he's true. Case in point, the FIBA World Championships just happened. U.S. finished 4th. I didn't stutter or misspeak. 4th. The gold medal game was won by Germany. They beat Serbia. The bronze medal game was won by, of all teams, Canada in overtime. That's who beat the U.S. for the bronze medal. Canada.
Yeah.
Just apologize and say, you know what? I didn't actively listen.
For Stephen A. to come back and be like, you know what? I was wrong. He was right. That right there is more validation than most people in life will ever get. Because Stephen A.
will dig into a point and never let go from his viewpoint because he believes he is right and knows better.
Arrogance.
Yes, it is the bravado that he has. It is nigh impossible to convince him otherwise once his mind is made up.
I have a quick question, particularly about him. is it just me? And I could be wrong. I'll take the L, but it just seemed like he just started claiming Winston-Salem State University. Has he always talked about going to a HBCU?
I
don't mean like from day one he's been on TV, but I just feel like it has just popped up.
No. If someone's going at him about something particular where his college career comes up, he will bring it up.
Okay.
It's not the first time he's done it. Because way back when Skip Bayless was his co-host on First Take, and they were in basketball season, Skip Bayless did bring something up about Stephen A. in his college career, in which he did play for Winston-Salem. He didn't start, and he didn't get much playing time. I think he averaged like maybe 2 points a game.
Gotcha. Okay, so, I knew you would know, James. I knew it.
It comes up periodically
when
people are pretty much trying to make a point and shut him up about his, college playing career, but it is rare that it does come up.
Now, have you all watched since Shannon has joined? It's not that I don't necessarily want to. Like I told y'all, I saw a picture of them and the picture was loud. So
I mean, it's Stephen A. and Shannon. What else is the picture going to be?
I mean,
stoic.
It's so early in the morning. My God, like
early.
I don't know if I can take all of that.
When are you getting up?
Huh? It comes on here 9:00.
Oh well, that's right. You're an hour behind. Sorry.
Yeah. And so I'm just like, God damn! I just had my coffee. Oh my God.
So no, I haven't watched yet, but I also haven't set my DVR to record their show. So I need to do that because I'm at work usually, so I'd have to watch it later.
I have put
James who gets to watch TV at work.
I have put a handful of segments, but none with both Stephen A. and Shannon.
Okay.
Because every time I'm like, oh, the show is on, let me watch it. Unfortunately, it's my day off, which happens to be Wednesdays. And Wednesdays is when Mad Dog is on. And Mad Dog needs to jump in a hole and shut his mouth and never speak again.
Oh my.
Okay.
That is a waste of space of a human being who should not be allowed to talk. And he is strictly there for entertainment purposes. And I wish Stephen A. would check him more, but the show is more entertainment than sports banter. So take from that what you will of my opinion on Mad Dog Mike Russo.
Got you. Sorry, I didn't mean to go like completely off track.
No. Perfectly okay.
I mean, it is a sports show. We may as well talk about sports TV.
Right.
Absolutely.
So no, I have not yet had the full
all right.
The full experience of Stephen A. and Shannon. My thing is, it can't be any different from how Shannon used to fill in for Skip when Skip would be out for long periods of time.
Okay.
And I don't think it's that much different. Now, Shannon is only there on Mondays and Tuesdays to specifically talk about the NFL and whatever else they have for that day, which I kind of figured he wasn't going to be there every single day of the week because that's not the structure of the show that Stephen A. wants. He wants he likes having rotating hosts and people in for like different segments throughout the 3-hour broadcast.
Hour broadcast. Okay.
And plus Shannon is building a pretty strong brand with Club Shay Shay on his YouTube channel.
Okay.
Very much.
Which I don't know if it's going to be on YouTube any longer because he just cut a podcasting deal with somebody. I can't remember who it was. So I don't know that the show is going to be on YouTube anymore. Nice. But he actually has a deal with a podcasting network now. So he is definitely building that Club Shay Shay brand.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
I miss Mike and Mike.
You're not the only one.
I really do.
You're not the only one. I love that.
They gel together so well. Even if they disagreed, the flow of the show was always just like
blame Greenie. Blame Greenie for that one. That split and the end of that show was all Greenberg.
My heart was broken. It's like Dolce and Gabbana breaking up.
Woman. I can't.
What's going on? It was the end of an era.
Oh gosh. I'd ask why you like this, but I remember who introduced you to us.
You know better, please.
I do. I do know better, but I asked.
But wouldn't Dolce and Gabbana splitting up give you reason to have that many more products?
Mm.
I mean, no, like for real, Dolce and Gabbana really did break up.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I don't know.
And I mean, I just thought it was very interesting. I was like, oh, they weren't just partners, they was partners.
Oh.
Yeah. They was doing community service. And so
okay. All right.
Yeah, so it looks like it got messy in court. And so that whole brand now, I don't really, it's still, I can't afford it. So that hasn't changed. But
you know what? So I wonder if that's going to make because I know they make purses, but I don't know what else they make. But I'm wondering,
they go in a whole line of fashion, shoes, pretty much everything.
But it has me wondering if everything that currently has a Dolce and Gabbana stamp on it is going to be that much more valuable.
Probably, because the rich keep getting richer, and I still can't afford Dolce or Gabbana.
Because like everything always gets a little bit more expensive when someone dies.
Exactly.
So this isn't a death, but this is the end of a relationship.
Yeah. And I think whatever the final decision was, I can't remember. I mean, at this point, it's cool, calm, and collective, but they still got more money than all of us. And I don't even know y'all like that.
I do want to get into one more thing before we dive neck deep into the NFL. And this is something I sent out either earlier today or yesterday, because it was literally breaking news when I sent it to our chat group about the NBA and the Board of Governors voting to approve new rules strengthening the policy of resting players and the punishment to teams for resting star players that include national TV games, the in-season tournament, and sitting out multiple games around the All-Star game during the regular season. Their definition of a star player is any person on the roster who has made an All-Star game or an All-NBA team in the last 3 seasons. That's their definition of a star player. So even if you made the All-Star game 2 years ago, but that was the only time you made it, you were still considered a star player. And
but going into the following year, you're no longer a star player.
Right. Now, the All-NBA part, for those who do not understand, All-NBA is not just the best 5 players in the league.
Right.
Though All-NBA is encompassing of all of the All-NBA teams. So that's All-NBA, All-Rookie, All-Defense. First, second, third teams for each respectively. So more than 2/3 of the league, if not 3/4 of the teams in the league, have multiple stars on their roster by this rule. And penalties, I believe, start at like $100,000 for a first violation, $250,000 for a second violation, and $1 million for any additional violation after that. Now, granted, this is the team being fined. Not players.
So it's essentially a drop in the bucket.
Right. Now,
because I forget what the rule is, but because I remember this got talked about when the Clippers were up for sale. There's a certain amount of money you have to have cash on hand in case your franchise makes no money for, what is it, James, the first 4 years or the first number of years, you have to be able to cover everything.
Yes. And that is across all sports, by the way.
Okay, yeah. So to me, that just kind of sounds like it's a drop in the bucket to these franchises, especially if you've got multiple stars on your team. Granted, nobody likes giving away money for no reason, but if I rest my 2 stars for a couple games and I get fined $500K, but in the long run, I'm going to end up making an extra $7 million. Who cares?
Right.
And to me, this clearly shows that this issue of resting the players isn't about fans complaining that the Lakers came to town and I didn't get to see see LeBron. It's now you're costing the league money.
Oh, it's twofold, because yes, it's the fans, because again, if you are in an East Coast city with a team, i.e. Atlanta, and like you said, the Lakers come to town, this is the only time you're going to see the Lakers unless you fly out to LA.
Right.
Now, sir, if you have money to be flying out to LA to be catching a couple of home Laker games, I would like airfare and a ticket, please. Hook me up.
Put me on your payroll.
Right. You know, let me know what's going on so I can ride out in style too. We can go see LeBron and AD not play in LA as well as not play here in Atlanta when they come to town.
Right. Well,
but
I have to push back a little bit on that though, James. One of the reasons why I don't know that fan complaints have that much to do with this is listen to the rationale that they gave. The rationale that they gave had nothing to do with fan complaints.
Actually, it did.
Oh,
it was twofold. It's
okay,
the
I'm sorry.
fans, because you're hurting the fans, and then you're hurting the partners you have. And by partners, we're talking about the sponsors and the broadcast partners.
Okay.
So, and from the player's perspective, I get it. Now, the league is culpable in this as well, because this also ties into the end of year player awards, in which these players have to play a minimum of what was it, 75 games, like 70, 72, 70, 65 to 70 games each, depending on tenure or whatever, because there's some other nuanced things in there to qualify for postseason awards. Right. So the league is culpable as well, because the players have been arguing for long periods of time, literally the last decade, stop scheduling so many back-to-backs. All right. It's crazy for a team to have to play in Miami one night and then the next night have to play in, say, Memphis, especially if it's a West Coast team. If it's an East Coast team, cool. If Washington or Atlanta is playing in Miami one night and the very next night has to play in Memphis, I get that. But if Golden State, the Clippers, or the Lakers are playing in Miami one night and then have to go to Memphis the next night and then only get a day off to go back home and play another back-to-back because this has happened, that's insane. And it's the travel toll, on their bodies. And Greg Popovich, coach of the Spurs, at the height of the Spurs' powers, when they had Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker, had a back-to-back where they played Miami one night, Orlando the next night. They play, and I think the Orlando game was on television, ESPN or TNT, whichever one. They played the Miami game. He literally sent the three of them home on a commercial Southwest flight to avoid injury of a back-to-back. And the only reason people found out about it is because people actually in the airport saw them in line at a Chick-fil-A. That's how folks found out those three were not playing the next night in Orlando.
Not the Chick-fil-A Lord.
Yes.
So
let me ask you this. Told them, look who's at the Chick-fil-A at the airport.
Right. So James, let me ask you this. When we were growing up, because I don't remember, and not necessarily just when we were growing up per se, but like our high school years. Let's use our high school years, because I'm sure we remember those years much more. Were there as many back-to-backs as there are now? Okay.
More so.
Really?
More so. Yes, more so. You can look at the NBA schedule and see your team play 4 or 5 games in a 7-day period and have 2 back-to-backs in a week. So they'd have like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off for travel to wherever new city they were going to, have a game on Wednesday, Thursday off for travel, and then have a Friday, Saturday back-to-back. Like that was not uncommon. And the only reason I know this is because the video games then mirrored the schedules. So it wasn't uncommon for me to pop in Live 95, look at the schedule of all the teams for the 95-96 basketball season or the 96-97 basketball season, because now we're getting to, college years and whatnot. But yeah, we will always, simulate a schedule, whatever like that. And, for kicks, look at the full 82 game schedule of a team and see 4 and 5 games in a week and a back-to-back be in there all the time. When if there were more than 3 games in a week, there was a back-to-back in there.
Yeah.
And again, the players don't mind the back-to-backs. They don't want as many
of them,
which I get.
So do you think in those previous years, do you think the players hated the constant back-to-backs the way that they do now, or is it just the differences in those players versus these players?
Yes.
Hmm.
I would say yes in general to all of that, because I get it. It's a different era, right? Those players from late 80s all the way up through the 90s, yeah, they were built differently. The star players played 80 plus games. I'm not even going to use 82. The best players in the league played a minimum of 80 games a season. Hell, someone dug the stat up today I was watching on one of the shows. Michael Jordan, in his last 3 seasons in Chicago, where they three-peated, played 82 games each of those seasons. Mm-hmm. He was the only person on the roster to play in all 82 games in each of those 3 seasons that they won those last 3 titles.
So let me also throw this in.
His last year in Washington, which he was like 39, 40 years old, he played all 82 games.
Whoa,
Washington.
That I didn't know.
Yes, for Washington of all teams, he played all 82 games at 40.
Yeah. So
I get it. Different era from the players now. The players are definitely built different between then and now. We already talked about the care of how players take care of their bodies and the regimens they go through, how times have changed as far as, free weights and resistance training. We talked about that as far as injuries and everything. It's just a different era. Also, comparable to what the money was. Hell, let's just use the 90s as a whole. The money that the players were getting from TV deals and merchandising in the 90s is literally pennies in the bucket compared to what they're getting now. From the CBA. So the money is vastly different. But again, the league didn't have this problem. If the marquee matchup was Philadelphia versus Chicago and the year is 1997, you were going to see Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Allen Iverson, and Dikembe Mutombo all on the court at the same time, because those were the star players for each of those respective teams. You weren't going to turn on TV, a national broadcast, see Utah and not see Stockton and or Malone. Wherever Shaq was playing, you were going to see him on TV. Patrick Ewing was going to be playing for the Knicks. Dominique was going to be playing for the Hawks when you turned on the national broadcast. Now it's, all right, I turn on my TV, the Lakers have a national game, and AD and LeBron are in street clothes. Hell, AD and LeBron may not even be in the stadium, let alone street clothes, because now it's gone to the point to where the players, if they're resting, they don't come to the game. So you can't get that whole, I went to the game and my favorite player for the other team walks in street clothes and sits on the bench, and I can't, look at him in the eye and be like, he's not even here.
Is it also a work ethic? You know what I mean? Like a mentality thing as well, on top of, I know we're living in a different time, but this NBA ain't NBA. It's like,
y'all think they're world champions. Remember, they think they're world champions. So there's that.
Right.
The earth is flat, Jesus.
And see, the thing that gets me is, with all the advances in sports medicine and nutrition and taking care of your body and all that good stuff, you would think they'd be much more capable of playing longer than the previous generation that we grew up watching. But they're not.
And gluten-free, and it ain't doing nothing for nobody.
I mean, it's like, did anybody catch the clip of, who was it? I think it was Shannon Sharp arguing with Ocho Cinco over one of the reasons that these players get hurt so often is because they don't eat junk food. And Ocho Cinco was making the argument for junk food. I think he may have specifically mentioned McDonald's, but Ocho Cinco was making the argument that they need some junk food in their diet so that they're not getting hurt as much. And Shannon was just like, nah, dude, you're not gonna sit up here and say that that's what these players need.
Not McDonald's, Lord. At least they the Chick-fil-A's.
I mean, with the exception of the Arizona Cardinals, if you listen to what some of these players eat at the facilities where they play, it'll blow your mind considering what's being served. I mean, linemen and the calories they eat is ridiculous, and they're eating steak on a regular basis. So,
but it's probably the leanest of lean cuts too. And I bet you Ocho will be like, no, you need some fat on that steak you eat.
I'm pretty sure there's some fat on the steak. It's called gravy.
But I just saw that and I was like, wait, am I really seeing and hearing what I think I'm hearing?
What?
Marshawn used to drink a little Henny before every game to loosen him up.
Well, damn it, I don't see nothing wrong with that.
But nobody is built quite like Beast Mode, though.
Oh,
I miss him. I really, really do. I'm like, just bring him back. When they, who did he play for after the Seahawks? The Raiders.
The Raiders.
They played in Mexico City, and he would not stand up for the U.S. anthem, but he stood up for the Mexican anthem.
Marshawn Lynch was one of the realest. I'm not even going to say realest players, but realest people I have ever seen in the public eye, celebrity wise.
Yes.
Because I love how I love the fact that he didn't code switch.
No.
And it was wonderful because we kind of grew up in an era where they didn't call it code switching, but we all knew it was encouraged to do it to help advance in our careers. I love the fact that Marshawn is like, no, homie.
No, stay true to yourself.
Right.
And so now that we've delved into Marshawn Lynch and his wonderful antics, NFL time. So we've already had week 1 and week 2 is officially starting tonight. If you're watching this and wondering why I'm on this broadcast, because I love doing this. And yes, I know the Eagles are currently hosting the Vikings as we speak. Last I checked, the score was 3-0 Philly. I don't know what the score is now. I don't want to know what the score is right now. I will be watching that game in full because the wonderful thing with Amazon Prime is that I can watch the game live when this ends, or I can go all the way back to the beginning of the broadcast and watch it.
Actually, James, I think you do want to know the score.
I think you
shut your face.
I'm just saying, I think you do want to know the score.
Right.
Look, I don't want to know the score because I actually want to watch the game.
But it's
no.
It's right there.
No.
It's right there.
This is why my desktop computer has already shut down. I have closed my tablet because my tablet was open to the game. I have nothing ESPN related, no alerts on, nothing.
Are you gonna make me pick up my webcam and put it on the?
You shut your face. Let's talk about how everyone feels.
You need some Hennessy, James.
No, you got to get James a Long Island iced tea.
My drink of choice is vodka. So, and I have 3 flavors of vodka in the crib. I am okay. Trust me, I am perfectly okay. I've also got some rum on tap.
It's right there.
Right there.
Help me.
But James, I'm looking at it on my other monitor. That's
cool. You can really look at it. No, I don't want to know. I want to be ignorant until this show is over with. Now,
let's move on.
Opening night was a bit of an opening night may have been a shock for anybody not outside of Kansas City or not understanding how the NFL works. Week 1, what are your biggest takeaways other than our respective teams winning, of course, our 4th member who is yet to join us. We will talk about her Buffalo Bills, specifically Josh Allen and the kerfluffle he was Monday night in due time.
Right. Jesus Christ.
Right. But Qiana, let's start with you. Your Saints and biggest takeaway from week 1 thus far.
So I will give my team a B-. I am not impressed. The defense is on point. Defense. That O-line is shakier than a stripper on the pole. I but I've been a fan so long. This is nothing new. I'm used to this, but it's still very messy. And I'm over the whole thing about, it's just week 1. And if you're going to clean anything up, you got to do it fast, because you can't keep saying every week, is this? No. So they got a lot of cleaning up to do. Game was very entertaining. Week 1, old school. Offense sell tickets, defense wins games. True. That's pretty much how I felt across the board with the few games that I get to watch, and I don't give a damn about Dallas. Okay, I'm done. I hate it here.
Wow, furious.
All righty. The biggest thing, my biggest takeaway is how good the offense actually looked this week, specifically the run game. Between Algier and, as a friend of ours, James Reggie, calls him Dijon, as well as the two of them did, the offense looked pretty good. Okay. I still have my concerns about Ritter, because to me, this is still kind of an extension of his rookie year, because he only played 4 games. He played the last 4 games of the season last year.
6.
And
6.
No, I'm sorry. He started. Ooh. I'm sorry. He started the last 4 games.
Oh, and no, he didn't. He started more than that.
No.
I'm gonna need you to go back and watch Quarterback on Netflix, because
to me, this is still the
I get what you're saying, though. I get what you're saying, but yeah.
So this is still the extension of his rookie season, and yes. Honestly, to me, he looks like a middle of the pack QB.
Okay.
He looks like he's middle of the pack average, and I don't and I don't say that to demean him or anything, but I want better than that for my team, because at the start of the season, he talked a lot of cash. He talked a lot of trash about how he wanted to stay in Atlanta until he brought a Super Bowl here and all these wonderful things he wanted to do. And I like the bravado. I like that. But you got to be better than middle of the pack to talk that kind of trash. But again, to me, still an extension of his rookie season. So hopefully he will get his feet settled and do better.
Honestly, Matt, can I interrupt you real quick, Keith?
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Repeat that again. You want what for your team? You want better
than middle of the pack.
True fan. And I know we are mortal enemies. I don't really give a damn. But I appreciate people. No, like real talk. I cannot stand, like, I just want my team to get a C on their report card. That is trash. That is trash. If you don't win, that's fine. But do the best you can, especially if you got the talent. Get it together. Just wanted to give that a shout out of appreciation to you for saying that.
And I look at my Falcons as a team that consistently has a couple. The Falcons, in my opinion, over the last 15 years, maybe 20, have never gone a season without at least 2 really good players on the team. Now, whether or not they're on offense or defense, we always have at least 2 really good players. When you look at the schedule at the start of the season, it usually looks like a schedule that we should make the playoffs with. Now, Atlanta Falcons do what Atlanta Falcons do and don't always play 4 full quarters of football. I love my team, but they don't always play 4 full quarters. If they consistently played 4 full quarters, I think we'd be a much better team. But you look at the schedule, like even right now, it looks like we should be a playoff-bound team. But again,
the division ain't much to talk about, but
that's fair. That's fair.
I am an optimistic realist. Okay. There is no point of like these people here. This is our year, and we're going to the Super Bowl to go do what? To be at the nacho and the daiquiri stand? I mean, my God, y'all, look, it's a cult.
But she's But she's right.
She is.
She's
Look,
right.
Look,
Again, like I said, I look at my team and I'm like, looking at the schedule right now, to me, this should be a playoff team. I'm not going to sit here and say Super Bowl, but looking at the schedule, we should be a playoff bound team. But again,
Matt, here's the other thing about our shitty ass division. You could be 8-9 at the end of the shit and you might go.
Right. Exactly. Because
I mean, 8-9 won it. No, wait, 8-9 won it last year.
Because typically you look at our division and you can clearly look at one team out of the pack and be like, that's probably who's going to win the division this year. You look at our division right now and it's like, well, shit, I don't know.
Somebody's got to win it.
Any given Sunday, we should change it from the NFC South to Welp. Well, I know it's early, but we know what kind of expectations to have.
Yeah, absolutely.
It truly is any given Sunday.
It
in
is
this division.
Yeah, but to round it out, James, yes, I am proud of my team this year. The defense looked a little shaky. Even though Bryce Young didn't put on the best of performance, he still exposed some weaknesses in our defense that we have got to clean up if we're going to be a competitive team. Because didn't Bryce Young win the Heisman
2 years ago? Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, it's not like he's some bum.
No,
he's a Heisman Trophy winning quarterback. But yeah, he exposed some holes in the defense that we've got to clean up. But overall, I like my team. But again, Ritter's got to be better than middle of the pack. He's right now. When I look at my team and I look at everybody's numbers, he's our weak link right now.
So I will piggyback again. I know Qiana doesn't want to hear this. It is week one, unfortunately, and week one is really preseason week 4.
Fair.
Let's be perfectly honest, because
absolutely
the way the NFL has gone, and I get it, but it showed across the board in week one. All of your star quarterbacks, every quarterback who was considered a star in this league, every quarterback who got paid this offseason did not play in preseason 3 exhibition games as we know it, right? None of them played. So that includes Allen, Hurts, Mahomes, Burrow, Jackson. None of them played a lick of preseason ball,
right?
At all. Not even to get out there with the first unit for a series and throw a couple passes. No, nobody. And look, granted, my Eagles won. The offense still looked like ass. And look, I will chuck Sunday's game up to literally none of the starters, at least none of the starters who were leaning on, played at all in the preseason. So definitely nobody on offense. And on defense, the only starters who actually played were the safeties and the linebackers. That's it, because they're all brand spanking new. So they had to get the run in, even though Nakobe Dean is going to be down for the next 4 weeks. He played all preseason. Reed Blankenship played all preseason. These were the starters who both promptly got hurt against the Patriots. But that's a problem I have right now, is that I need the first units on both sides of the ball to at least get a series in. Even if that series is 3 and out and you don't want to risk injury and don't send them back in again, they still need that, because week one, they look like they literally have not touched the football since the last time we saw them play. Now, granted, my expectations for my Eagles on a yearly basis is play solid football, make the playoffs. Getting to the Super Bowl 2 of these last 5-6 years for me has been a happy bonus, because if you had told me the year we won the Super Bowl that we were going, I would have said thank you very much. But I was not expecting us to do that year, because the year before we went 9-7.
Right.
Carson Wentz was still the starter. I was expecting us to win 10 or 11 games, make a little bit of noise in the playoffs, possibly get to the divisional round, maybe the conference title. We win the Super Bowl against the Patriots. Yes, I did backflips up and down whatever street. I was obnoxious as hell at work. People couldn't stand me. Last year, Jalen Hurts' first full year. Again, I'm predicting, because we're coming off a 9-8 season, we should win 10, 11 games, threaten for the division title. I did not expect us to run away with the freaking conference and him to be an MVP candidate. So again, I temper my expectations. Yes, I want my team to play well, but my expectations are tempered, unlike some other fans who believe, oh, this is it. No. Belichick. I am so happy that my team does not play in the AFC East, because fans of teams not named the Patriots, I don't understand how y'all support those other 3 teams going against his defensive scheme twice a year. That ish drove me crazy, because as quickly as we jumped out to 16-0, I'm like, okay, he's about to make an adjustment, because it was still the first quarter. And normally the Belichick adjustment comes at halftime. The adjustment came in the middle of the first quarter, and all we did was kick field goals for the rest of the game. And I'm like, offense, I know y'all see this. I know y'all see this, offense. Y'all stressing the D. You're stressing the D. Too many 3-and-outs. And I don't want to see Belichick coach defense ever again. I started looking at the schedule like, damn, this is what Belichick is doing. Where the good defenses on the schedule? And I'm scanning the schedule, and albeit we do play Washington twice before the bye, I ain't worried about their defense. The offense is too good for their defense. The next best defense we play will be the freaking New York Jets after what they did to Buffalo. Well, forced Buffalo to do Monday night. And then 2 weeks after the Jets, we played Dallas. Those will be the 2 best defenses we play before the bye.
Y'all don't win that game, I'm gonna be mad at you.
And while we are transitioning to the kerfluffle that was Josh Allen, because I can't talk about the rest of the Bills. This is all on Josh Allen.
Before we do that, James, I was right. He only started 4 games. He took over after the bye week when Mariota gave up.
Gotcha. Watch Quarterback.
Okay.
On Netflix. He didn't give up.
Well, okay.
Watch Quarterback. No, seriously.
Okay.
Watch Quarterback.
So maybe I shouldn't say give up, but do what Mariota is known for doing.
So watch Quarterback, and you will have a different perspective.
Really? Okay.
Yes. I highly suggest, especially if you are a Kansas City, Minnesota, or Atlanta fan, you should definitely watch Quarterback on Netflix.
Series or documentary?
It's a series.
Okay.
Because they follow those 3 quarterbacks through the course of last season. So I get what was said here in the Atlanta sports media about Mariota when you all made the transition from him to Ritter. But there was a lot more going on there that was not put out there in the media. And I'm like, ooh, yeah, there's some elements of Atlanta sports media that's real shitty for putting stories out and spinning it that way. And I'm like,
without even knowing what happened. Yeah, Atlanta media is kind of shit. Yeah.
So it's one thing, I get the fans are going to feel how they feel, you can't, but for the sports media to spin why he wasn't there the way they did here in Atlanta, that was trash.
Okay. Add quarterback to my list right now.
You don't do that to your players, whether you like them or not. That is not how the sports media of your town supports players, good or bad. Is one thing to call them out if they're not playing well.
Right.
It's another thing to spin what's happening behind the scenes as him being a malcontent, unhappy, not wanting to be here, whatever. No. He knew what he was getting.
Well, James, remember, what is it that I always say about the city of Atlanta? This is not a sports town. This is not a sports town.
Yeah.
And trust me, when you see what happens, because again, Mariota, because they follow each of the 3 quarterbacks up until their respective seasons end.
Mm-hmm.
So where Mariota pretty much is shut down for the year is roughly just a little over halfway through the series.
Okay.
All right, and then he pretty much it's just Mahomes and Cousins the rest of the way through until their respective ends of their seasons.
Okay.
But yeah, watch Quarterback.
Okay.
So
I still have 2 more episodes left, but I kind of. So what is the purpose of building that narrative?
to throw him under the bus.
Yeah. But remember, Atlanta only supports let me rephrase that. Atlanta as a whole only supports their teams when they're winning.
Yep.
Okay, so
the thing I always say is the Detroit Lions could go 0-16.
They have.
But they will still sell out every game.
Yep.
You let Atlanta lose 2 games in a row, that stadium is half empty.
Yep. I still remember the playoff game against the Packers in which everybody left at halftime.
Yeah.
Because they were getting trucked. What was it, 34-0 or 28-0 at halftime? And my mom called me, was like, I see the Falcons fans showed out as a whole sea of red. I said, Mom, those are the seats.
But yeah, as much as and people always tell me that I'm a rarity because I love my team win or lose. I'm gonna stick with them to the bitter end. And I'm just like, this is not a true sports town.
It's not.
It's not.
You talking to a person who I've seen pictures of family members with paper bags on their head, and the entire stadium is full. You knew the Saints was gonna lose.
Saints fans in the 80s. Yes, I remember those highlights.
But they were still at those games.
That's
true.
The
end of the game and watched it. But it was like, I ain't gonna take my paper bag off to tell y'all goodbye.
I remember being that
hardcore. That's it.
I remember me and some friends going to Falcons games at times. And we were young, we didn't have any money, so we had the cheap seats. Game starts to progress, people start leaving. We start looking around like, hey, who's sitting down there in them seats? We watch the seats for a while. Nobody ever comes back. We go out to concessions to go get something to eat. We come back and we go to them better seats down front.
Absolutely.
It's not a true sports town. I wish that it were, but it's not.
Why do you think that is, Mac?
Atlanta to me is the kind of city where this is a city about college, partying, and business opportunity. Because what is one of the things that Atlanta is known for in the rest of the country? Chicken wings and strip clubs.
Yikes.
Jamel Hill,
yes.
I forget what exactly her and her crew were doing, but she's talked about it on one of the interviews or podcasts that she's done. They just had an impromptu, or not just, but at some point in the past, they all decided, all right, we're going down to Atlanta. We're going to go hit some strip clubs. Again, it was just kind of like, all right, we're going to Atlanta for the weekend or for the week or however long they were here.
Right.
But it wasn't to do anything sports. I mean, obviously this was them on their personal time, but still, when that event gets talked about, strip clubs come up. Not, I was in Atlanta and I love the historical aspect, or I was there. No, strip clubs.
And chicken wings.
And chicken wings. Atlanta is known for strip clubs and chicken wings.
Lord.
Yikes.
And college and going to school.
Yeah.
You got the AUC. You got Georgia Tech. You got Emory, and Agnes Scott. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are other colleges as well, but those are the ones that I hear the most about.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is not a sports town.
It's not. It's not.
The height of Atlanta being a sports town is when Ted Turner owned all the Atlanta teams. And we have not been the same since then.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I remember those days.
Yeah.
Not been the same since then. That was when the vibe of the city, to me, felt the most sports alive.
Okay.
The last time we were that alive was the infamous Super Bowl year.
Let's not talk. I can't
So,
emotional. Let's move on.
But no. See, the thing I always tell people is that doesn't truly bother me anymore, because my thing is, that's all you got to talk about. That's it.
I get it.
That's all you got. But yeah, so that was the last time the city was truly. No, I take it back. And the year the Braves won the World Series.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, those were the last 2 times the city was truly electric and alive around sports. Ever since then, okay.
Are people going to the Braves games, or it's pretty much the same?
No, people go to the Braves.
They go to the Braves games.
Trust me, they go into the Braves games.
They go to the Braves games.
Further out.
It's out in Cobb County. It's out in the suburbs.
Okay.
Yeah. And Atlanta United.
Yeah. Love the soccer.
Get out of here.
Love the soccer. Yeah.
Really?
The United games sell out. That is a hard ticket to get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Like I got a friend who's got season tickets that he always asks me, "Hey, do you want to go to game such and such?" And I'm like, "Well, if I ain't got nothing going on that day, all right, let's go." And again, I'm not the biggest soccer fan, so I'm still trying to learn more about the game. But it's an Atlanta sports team, and I'm gonna support my Atlanta teams.
Right.
Yeah. But so that's it. Atlanta's not a true sports town. It's just not.
It's not. Let's get the bash in the fourth member who's not here.
Oh no.
Because there were two games at MetLife Stadium over the weekend, one Sunday night and one Monday night. And one of those four teams didn't show up because Dallas beat the brakes off the Giants 40 to donut. And I don't like giving Cowboys any credit whatsoever, but I am going to crap on the Giants right now because you deserve this for paying the wrong man.
The wrong man.
And for those who are unaware of what I'm talking about, both Daniel Jones, the quarterback, and star running back Saquon Barkley were free agents in the offseason. And everybody knew you got to pay one long-term and hopefully franchise the other.
Yep.
They chose to pay the quarterback $40 million on average
buyer's remorse, Lord.
Over 4 years. And franchise Saquon before finally agreeing to a 1-year deal with him to get him off the franchise tag.
Ridiculous.
Everybody with half a brain who knows anything about football knows that the Giants offense moves as well as Saquon Barkley moves. When he's there and he's productive, they're a threat. If he's not productive or he's not there, you might as well be playing a Pop Warner team. He was not effective Sunday night. Dallas literally took him out the game and by extension eliminated anything the Giants had on offense because it was all downhill from there. I mean, the line couldn't block, save their life. There was literally at the snap of the ball, a Dallas Cowboy in the face of Daniel Jones all night. The man literally had no time to throw the ball. Zero.
I've never seen a funeral that late at night before. Jesus Christ. Oh my God.
Fast forward to the next night. The Aaron Rodgers era for the New York Jets started and ended in 4 plays. This is not an exaggeration. And
snaps.
For some people, they say 5 because they count the Achilles snapping as the 5th one.
I mean, it technically counts.
Well,
it was a snap.
I wish look,
that portal to hell.
I do not wish injury on anybody.
I don't know.
But when Aaron Rodgers went down, there's not a soul in this country who watches football, not even Jets fans, believe they were going to win that game. I was expecting Buffalo to steamroll the hell out of the Jets after Aaron Rodgers went down. I mean, this is a team that's returning most of its starters from last year. Josh Allen, for all the hype that he gets, which I think is undeserved, played like trash Monday night because Josh Allen was the best player the New York Jets had Monday night. I did not stutter when I said that. Yes, I know Josh Allen is the quarterback of the Buffalo Bills, but he was the best player for the New York Jets.
Hey, Candaysee, where you at? Candaysee?
Because
Candaysee,
he threw.
Oh, she's not here. Okay, I'm sorry.
Of his 3 interceptions and 4 total turnovers, 2 of them were pretty much hero ball. I'm going to just wing this up downfield, to the goal line because somebody's down there. Yeah, he's double covered.
So he had a Brett Favre game?
Oops.
No, see, the Brett Favre game is where you throw 4 to 6 interceptions and you don't fumble.
You stay in that bracket. Not the. Oh, my God.
He had a Carson Wentz game.
Ooh.
Yeah, I went there.
Jeez.
So not only did he throw in the double coverage once, he did it twice. And you're the quarterback. He actually rolled out the pocket on one, so he saw his wide receiver being sandwiched by two defenders and still chucked it 50 yards downfield. Not once, but twice. The third interception, you're reading high-low coverage on an out route, on a cover 2. Means the corner is playing shallow, the safety's playing deep. There is a specific spot in which you're supposed to throw this ball. You didn't throw it there.
No.
And the safety, now, granted, you know how players have incentives in their contracts. If they get this many, they get a bonus, this many, this. Josh Allen helped the safety for the New York Jets reach his bonus for one of his incentives in one game. This safety had an incentive clause in his contract that if he got 3 picks in the course of the season, he would get an extra $250,000. He got that Monday night.
That is so sweet. Pay it forward.
Check.
That was
one
so nice
already
of him.
off his list.
So great.
Does Candaysee know how generous her quarterback is? Oh shit, I can't. She's not.
Oh Lord.
Now again,
oh Lord,
we can chalk this up to week 1, him not playing in the preseason, whatever.
Again, like you said, it's technically preseason game number 4.
Yeah.
It is. But as bad as, and granted, Patrick Mahomes didn't play badly on last Thursday. His receivers were trash because they had stone hands. But even as bad as his stats were, it wasn't this.
Right.
Joe Burrow only threw for like 85 yards. He still didn't turn the ball over 4 times.
Yeah.
Jalen Hurts only had 1 touchdown pass and barely 150 yards passing on like 30 passes. Sunday.
I don't know who that was that played at that Buffalo game. I believe they cloned that man. And
that was the Buffalo Bills from the late 90s.
Look, if I'm a Bills fan, I'm checking to make sure that wasn't Nathan Peterman playing quarterback for the Buffalo Bills.
Ooh, a tough room. Yikes.
And for those who don't remember Nathan Peterman was given a start one year when Buffalo was legit going to make the playoffs, and for whatever reason, the brain trust coaching staff decided to bench Tyrod Taylor while he's playing well enough to get them into the playoffs, keeping them above 500, and started Nathan Peterman against the San Diego Chargers. Peterman in the first half threw not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 interceptions.
So I'm on a roll.
In the first half. And then come out of halftime. You know what they did to come out of halftime? Yo, Tyrod, go in there and fix this. The man who you benched for no good reason whatsoever, a game y'all could have won, that would have actually locked up the playoff spot at that point of the season because of all the other tiebreaking stuff that was going on, would have literally given y'all the inside track on the number 1 wild card that year. And y'all benched Tyrod Taylor because you want to make a change? You were 2 games over 500. What change are you trying to make?
Right. They want to be under 500.
Well.
Oh, and in case anybody was wondering, yes, Nathan Peterman is still quarterbacking somewhere in the NFL as somebody's backup. Don't ask me which team, but this dude still has a job. Yes. Nathan Peterman, 5-pick Nathan Peterman in the first half of football is on someone's active NFL roster.
Oh boy.
And that's what Josh Allen looked like Monday night. Because there's no reason for that game to 1, be so low scoring, and 2, go into overtime.
He's the Bears backup.
Jesus.
Damn, the Bears can't have nothing nice.
They cannot have nice things.
The Bears fans, look, Bears fans, I'm sorry, but at some point, y'all got to let go of 1985.
Wow.
At some point, you got to let go of 1985.
Just piss poor decisions everywhere.
Y'all can't keep clinging to 85, though. Y'all can't keep clinging. And I know we're coming up on the 40-year anniversary in 2 seasons, but let it go.
Please let it go.
Better yet, let go of Nathan Peterman. There had to have been more competent backups in the league to put on your roster behind Justin Fields than Nathan
That's
Peterman.
embarrassing. It makes no sense.
No, I'll tell you what was embarrassing. Embarrassing is Kadarius Toney, the wide receiver for the Chiefs, who dropped 4 of his 5 targets against the Lions last week, because the first pass that came his way literally hit him in the hands, in his hands like this, and somehow ricocheted out of them into the waiting hand, singular hand, of a Detroit defender who literally snagged it like this, like, oh, a present. And I'm already in motion.
He said,
heading towards that end zone. I think I'm going to score.
He said, look at God.
Right. Won't he do it?
Won't he do it?
Oh my God.
Kadarius Toney had literally one of the worst games by position player during week 1, and then decided to get on the interwebs and troll the Giants for not scoring. Sir, you cost your team a game.
Yeah. And I know this is, are they aware that it's the regular season or
some of these players know.
Some know.
Because
you can just tell.
They're still in preseason mode.
Look, again, I know you hate to hear this, but week 1 is preseason week 4, and week 2 is preseason week 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's really around weeks 2 or 3. So again, I get that teams are trying to protect their star players, not trying to get them banged up or anything. A lot of times you see all the rookies and young players who you're working to your starting lineup or the rotation of the starters. They get all the preseason run, but your starting offense has to play at least a series to not look like the kerfluffle bat-ish stuff we saw in week 1. Because honestly, the best offense I saw in week 1, and I hate to say this, was the San Francisco 49ers. That was the best offense I saw in week 1.
Yo, I am still.
According to the schedule, they played the Pittsburgh Steelers, but Pittsburgh didn't show up, and the game was in Pittsburgh.
I did watch the first half of that. Yikes.
There was a touchdown run that I saw from Christian McCaffrey that I'm just kind of like, there's something unreal about that dude. I don't know what it is.
No. There's nothing unreal about him. That is commitment by the offensive line at the point of attack, because the only thing he did was run through the hole they gave him. He made one great move to get away from the first defender who had a shot at him, and then his wide receivers literally hauled ass from wherever they were on the field to make sure no one else touched him until he crossed the goal line. All he had to do was run.
So
his job was easy. I know the run you're talking about, but if you watch that replay, there are 2 receivers who enter the screen and pick up blocks for him.
Okay.
Had they not done that, he wouldn't have scored.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Okay.
So yeah, he look, and that's what it takes to be good in this league. Everybody has to buy in. If your running back busts one deep, and I mean, there's a chance for a defender to catch him, there's nobody else in the picture, problem.
Yeah.
Because I guarantee, and look, I'm showing my age here. You go back in the 80s and you watch the 49ers then, and any long run that Roger Craig had, guess who was downfield blocking for him?
Jerry Rice and
or John Taylor.
Yep.
At least one of them was downfield on every long run Roger Craig ever had. One of them was downfield blocking.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Nowadays, it's he broke through, and now he's, you got to be Derrick Henry, stiff arming people out the club to get an 80-yard run because your receivers ain't gonna be nowhere in the picture.
Oh, I missed the good.
Or unless you got a receiver like Ocho Cinco who thinks he can block.
Oh gosh, you saw that clip of him trying to block Ray Lewis on the goal. Yeah,
I remember the game, but then the clip came up recently. I was like, oh, that's right. He did think he was gonna stop Ray Lewis.
Did he eat McDonald's that day?
He probably did, because Ray Lewis should come off like a gnat, like something touched me. I got to make this play.
He was mic'd up, and Ray Lewis was like, "Oh wait, did you hit me?"
When he gets to the sideline, if you keep watching the clip, if you get the extended one, when he gets to the sideline,
talking to the coach,
him, what happened? I tried to blindside Ray. Why? Literally, that's the coach's response.
Yeah.
Why? I thought I could get him. Why?
Oh boy.
I know it wasn't a smart thing to do. Oh gosh, that hurts. Oh, that really hurts. Ray didn't even see me and still knocked me out. Oh my gosh. Yeah.
That was them early days of F around and find out.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh. Y'all got anything else from week 1 that you want to talk about? I think we hit all the highlights. Outside of the rookie quarterbacks, look, they're rookie quarterbacks. All 3 of them lost. I will say for everybody who gave crap to Richardson in Indianapolis,
Yes.
he probably played the best of the 3, even though he was given the most crap of the 3. And look, this week, a rookie quarterback will win because the Colts are playing the Texans.
Jesus.
The one thing I would like to highlight is it was wonderful seeing as many black quarterbacks playing this week as we had.
Oh, you are
that was
so
a beautiful thing. I forget the number, but I want to say close to half the quarterbacks in the league now.
Should have been about 12.
Yeah.
Should have been about 12.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though when you look at the, even though when you look at the, I'm sorry.
Yeah, Mahomes counts. Yes, Mahomes counts.
Well, I mean, if my quarterback counts, of course Mahomes.
Okay.
Because quite honestly, so again, I'm a casual college sports fan. When they drafted Ritter and people were talking about, yeah, he gonna love Atlanta, I got to looking at him and I was like, are y'all sure he gonna love Atlanta? You sure about that? Because,
let me see.
And again, at the time, I didn't realize one of his parents was black, but he's that black friend that can pass. Because I was like, y'all sure this dude gonna love Atlanta? Like you think he gonna love Atlanta? All right, but yes, I don't know which parent is black, but yes, one of his parents is black. So if my quarterback counts, so Mahomes counts as well.
Okay,
but to me that is truly a beautiful thing to see.
Amazing.
That many black quarterbacks playing in the league and
about
starting black quarterbacks.
Yeah,
at that.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's a beautiful thing.
We need more of it. Unfortunately, there's bias, but you know.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
It is what it is. Qiana, what you got from week 1?
Football is back. No, like seriously, all summer long having to hear about Aaron Rodgers and just the hoopla of that. And again, I don't want anybody to get hurt, but I was just ready for the season to actually start. So now I don't have to spend Sundays. I don't watch damn near every 30 for 30. Look, I can't watch them on. Football is back. I'm excited, and yeah, I'm looking forward to the season. I have a proposal. I just thought about it that I would like to make. Okay. I think we should go to Vegas and record live from Vegas during the Super Bowl.
Okay.
Even if we in the McDonald's dining. Mac, you feel me? I'm just saying. We could be that. I don't care. We're there. That's what counts.
Let's do it.
I'm being dead serious.
Now we can't fly into Vegas. We'll probably have to fly into maybe Reno and drive to Vegas.
Yeah, because Super Bowl week is it's crazy.
I'm fine with it. It's an adventure. Like we could document all of this. I think it will be great material for the show.
Okay.
Now, if we do this, we gotta get tickets to Vegas now, because in December the price going to skyrocket. And round trip's going to be over a G.
This is why I say we fly into Reno.
And then drive.
Yeah. Oh, even in Reno, the price is going to go up because they know what folks are doing.
Fair.
So
That's true.
The earlier we set this up, the better. But yeah,
that's true.
I'm down for it.
I like that. I really do like that idea, Qiana. I like it.
I mean, hell, we could be on the corner of whatever. Ain't nobody got to know where we at.
Right.
You see bright lights in the background. Hey, look, I just met Jared Rice. You don't know what I'm talking about. We don't know what's going on. No, but all the jokes aside, we ain't got to lie and do all that. I just think that would be just really good content and just to be in the atmosphere of all of that at whatever price range we choose to do.
Yes.
Works for me.
All right. Anybody got anything else before we get out of here? And I can start watching my Eagles and Vikings.
Two more things, real quick.
Go ahead.
I don't know if you guys have heard of Actively Black, the sportswear.
Yes.
Go on YouTube and watch their New York Fashion Week show. It is amazing. Okay. It is truly for the culture. And then my last thing is check out the 4th season of Why Not Us on ESPN Plus. It is about Howard University's golf team. Okay. And Steph Curry has just contributed. It's not so much, a lot of money, yes, but he really is just invested in helping them get to the cream of the crop. It's very interesting.
Okay.
I will definitely check that out because now that you mentioned Howard, I did not realize Howard University has a women's rugby team.
Who knew?
Right. And someone posted, because it popped up in my feed on one of the little reels, and I forgot what little school they was playing, but and I say little school because I've never heard of the school they was going up against.
That little raggedy school.
But this little school with these little frail little girls, this is not an exaggeration. These little girls look like they was going. So it looked like so the team they were playing, it looked like they was Barbie dolls, like literally in stature and size. Then they showed the Howard women's rugby team came out, and you remember that episode of Futurama where Fry and the other dude were like, "Yes, we want death by Snoo Snoo, the planet of the Amazon women." That's the contrast in size. So Howard rugby team, the Amazonian women planet. And I'm not trying to say this to be disparaging anything, but
it's what's true.
These women look like they've been playing rugby since birth, and the team they was up against look like we're just doing this for fun.
I'm looking at the team's Instagram page right now. Yeah,
you see the game I'm talking about, right? You see.
Well, hold on, let me go back. These are some women who are definitely serious about rugby.
Oh yes,
yeah.
They ain't out here for fun.
No, they are not.
They ain't out here for some extra credit or extracurriculars, I should say. This is not an intramural sport for them because the team, like I said, the reel I saw was literally just the two teams running onto the field, single file, like you can see the players. And like I said, Howard came out there looking like we're about to kill somebody, and the other team was like, "Yay, intramural sports!" I'm like, y'all gonna die.
Yeah. Because again, these women are again, and I'm just looking at the Instagram page. They mean business. They are not out here trying to be cute. They are not out here trying to be anything other than athletes.
What was the end result?
I don't know what the score was. I didn't care to find out what the score was. All I knew was like there was probably a dozen funerals that day. These little pale little things probably did not survive the encounter. I can't see them actually trying to actually run up and tackle the women from Howard because heaven help you little things because y'all probably broke something running into them.
KO. Just
you lose.
Yeah, these are not women. These are athletes.
Whoa!
If I find the reel, if I find the reel of them running onto the field, I will send it to our chat. But,
whoa!
Yeah, you see it now, right? You see it.
Damn.
Right.
Yeah, these are athletes.
Now imagine them going up against little Sally, little Mindy, Bitsy, Becky, and all them on the opposing rugby team. And yes, I said those names
all of the fun. That's not fair.
And I said those names on purpose because that's how frail and fragile these girls on their opponents look like. And again, that was just from watching the reel. Now, again, it's sport. Anything can happen. True. I just don't believe anything happened this day other than Howard mollywhopping these girls.
Those are some serious players.
Right. Yeah, that sounds like, no, these are athletes.
Yeah. Wow.
So that's all I got for the evening. That's all I got.
I think everybody should watch, if you have not watched BS High, and we should talk about that on the next episode.
BS High. Is that
on HBO Max?
Is that about the high school in Alabama?
Wasn't it Alabama? The fake school and the players were older than the teenage age and all of that. And
Bishop Sycamore. No, it wasn't Alabama. They was in Ohio.
Yeah, man. It's bad. It's good, but it's bad.
I have seen so many documentaries and things about Bishop Sycamore and the 3 a-holes who run that organization, because I can't call them.
They're in the documentary.
Yeah.
So wait, is BS High a movie or is it a documentary?
It's a documentary.
Okay.
It's about an hour and 30 minutes.
Yeah, that's probably like 2 hours more than they deserve, but
well, and then also I had to think about, I'm like, I feel like I'm giving this man exactly what he wants by watching this. But y'all, like, I've literally felt like Satan was on the television. Like, he's a bona fide sociopath.
Yeah, because him and his partners believe that what they're doing is a good thing. And I'm like, how? You got people who literally can't play college ball anywhere in shoddy equipment that they're sharing.
Right.
And somehow they fooled ESPN to getting on TV not once, but twice.
I don't understand that at all.
And aren't they losing?
Losing
badly.
Losing is what happens if we play a video game against each other.
Mollywop.
They're like average first quarter scores are like 30-0.
And these are grown men playing against high school kids.
In some cases,
yeah,
yes.
At some point, because you can hear the commentators in the back going, "Well, he's a big one." Oh, and we don't have any medical staff. I have never seen so many torn ACLs in my life. It is just terrible. I couldn't take my eyes away. I was just like, this is why things like this happen, because people aren't held accountable. Nobody asks questions, and people just let stuff pass until it's too late. Oh boy, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Let's end it there for the evening. And
all right.
I hope you all enjoy your Sunday of football. I'm pretty sure we're all going to watch Colorado State Saturday night.
Yep.
Everyone be healthy, be safe. Again, scan the QR code to give and help out those affected by the wildfires in Maui, if you were so moved to do so. That is going to do it for us for the evening, for Furious, for Qiana, for Candaysee, who couldn't be here this evening. Yes, we did talk about your Bills, or I talked about your quarterback like I said I would. And I didn't lie. I was perfectly honest.
That he did not tell a lie.
We will catch you all next time.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off, called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No regard for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if we put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. Network out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell. Even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we